So, welcome to the channel, That Retired Guy. As promised, in this episode, I'm going to be talking about video calls. You know, for us Zoomers. So you want to Zoom. What's that all about? I'm going to talk a little bit about that in this episode. Now, there's only two times in my life I've heard reference to the word Zoom. One is that Mazda commercial, you know, Zoom. And the other is, well, kind of an off-color reference to, well, you know what I mean. Now, normally what other people do in the privacy of their own homes, that's none of my business. But when my neighbor asked me to Zoom with Felicia, you know, the new president of the condo board, well, I'm going to check it out. Now, I'm sure most of you have figured out what they mean is hooking up by some kind of video conference. I mean, heck, most of us have just learned how to Skype, or if you're on the Apple network, sort of using FaceTime. What's this Zoom all about? Now, if you're looking to do a video call just with some other human being, I mean, there's lots of options out there. Now, when I was a kid, video chat, that was all about picture phones. I mean, that's science fiction back then.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
The big debate at the time was, what are you going to do if you get a phone call and you're naked? I mean, you always had to answer the phone when it rang because we didn't have any answering machines. There was no text or email. Yeah, what are you going to do if you're naked? Anyway, it's funny how everything sort of works out. Now, video calls are easy these days. All you do is just download your favorite app, whether it's FaceTime or Skype, or even apps like Facebook Messenger allow you to do video calls right now. And all this without any long distance charges. So, I mean, phone companies must be losing a ton of money. Now, just remember, when you download the app, let it sync up with your contact list. That way your video call is just like one click away from the entry in your phone book. Yeah, we used to call them phone books, black books, whatever. Now they're contact lists in your phone. So anyway, all you do is let it download your contact list, and then you just click on that little video icon that they got there. Okay, so now what's the big deal with Zoom? I mean, why not just use FaceTime or Messenger or Skype? I think the difference is that Zoom is really meant for groups. So if you want to get more than two people on a call, group conference calls, that sort of thing, that's where Zoom comes in. So now your kids are using this at work. I mean, everybody's working from home now. I mean, even the kids are using this to do their online learning. Now, a lot of it is probably through Google Classroom or something like that, but it's the same concept. Now, you may also get invited to a Zoom meeting if you're on some kind of a local committee or board or task force or something like that. Some of you may get invited to it if your condo association decides to have a meeting. They'll send you a Zoom invitation. So, important to learn how to do this. Now, the thing about Zoom is it does offer lots of options, like sharing photos or videos online during the conversation, documents, that sort of thing. And a whole lot of locations and different people can join into the same call. So it's really like having a meeting online. And did I mention it's free? I mean, that is if you get the basic app, but it allows you 40 minutes of free call. Now, let me give you a little bit of background on Zoom. Zoom was created by a Chinese-American billionaire named Eric Yuan, and, from Silicon Valley. This guy is worth $16 billion right now. There were some early concerns about privacy and security. A lot of those have been addressed with some recent updates to the program. And this user base grew to the millions, of course, during the pandemic. Everybody was working from home, and so they needed a way to do their conference calls. Now, the competitors, we're talking about Skype, Meet Now, I think is what they call it, Microsoft Teams, WebEx, Google Classroom. Now, Zoom has got $2 billion in revenue right now, whereas Skype is probably the closest competitor at 1.7. Zoom has 36% of the market share, and I guess the next one is GoTo with 22% and WebEx with 17%. Now, the market size is $65 billion in 2012, so this is big business. Okay, so in this video, I just want to get you started. So, if you get an invite from your condo association, I mean, you can actually get involved. And the bonus, of course, is if your kids give you a call on Zoom, you can actually answer and show them you're a real Zoomer. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you need to download the Zoom app and you need to create an account. So get out your laptop, follow along. You can pause, rewind if I get too far ahead. Okay, so you go to the Zoom site. It's actually zoom.us. If you go to zoom.ca, you're going to end up going to some car dealership. Okay, so zoom.us. Zoom.us. Okay, so you're going to sign up for an account. Of course, it's free. And they're going to want you to put in your birth date. I mean, don't you hate having to go way to the bottom of the list to find your birth date? Anyway, put that in there and put in your email address. Now what's going to happen, they're going to send you a confirmation email. Let's go check my email. And respond to that, click on it, and then it's going to take you to the account login page. Put in your name, address, choose a password, that sort of thing, just so you can get yourself set up with a Zoom account. Skip this step. Start your test meeting. So we can do a test meeting. Start the meeting now. Allow us to connect to Zoom. So there we go, Daryl, that retired guy. So interesting things on this page. So you can record the meeting if you want. Pause and stop. Stop recording. It goes to a file. So if you want to do that, so you want to on a call with your grandkids, you can record it. You can chat while the meeting's on, so you can type different messages in here and send that. You can monitor the participants that are there. Basically, it's just me right now. And you can mute your conversation. If you don't want people to hear what you're saying or you've got something else to do, you can go off and do that. Oh, there's also some interesting things you can do in here. For example, you can raise your hand if you're in the middle of a meeting and you don't want to interrupt until the appropriate time. And you can send some kind of reactions to whatever you see happening over there. So, of course, you can always turn on and off the camera as well. And, oh my God, I don't know about this lumberjack look. Anyway, you can also put a virtual background on. Let's say we want to go to the beach. So there we go. Run a little virtual background. Yeah, I don't know about this. Anyway, so what if you want to invite somebody to a call? Well, you go down to participants and you can invite somebody to join the call by going on the email site and you type in a email address and send it to that individual, and they'll get an email invitation and they can join your meeting. So what about scheduling a meeting? Well, let's go back out in this meeting. And you have different options here on your Zoom application. This was running a meeting, hosting it. Here's scheduling a meeting. You can join a meeting and share your screen. Anyway, scheduling a meeting is simply putting in your topic name for the meeting. You select a date and time. You can even make it a recurring meeting if you want, every week or something like that. It will generate a security code, passcode for you that will be part of the email. And you just save that and it will add an event to your calendar. And when it does, you can go there and add different people that you invite to the meeting. So just type in their email address. And as you add them, they'll all get invitations with the information for the meeting and the passcodes and the meeting ID. And then send. And now you got a meeting scheduled. You can see right here it's scheduled for 11 to 11:30 with that meeting ID. When you go in there to host the meeting, you simply hit start, and it starts your meeting. And participants can join by their from the email. So it's actually pretty easy. If you get an invitation to a meeting that's already in progress, you'll get an email, and you simply go down and click on the link, and it'll take you to your Zoom application on the computer. Allow, it'll connect you to the meeting. Simple. Now, if there's a scheduled meeting, it's a bit different. Now, in this case, when the meeting's about to start, you simply go back to the invitation letter that you got, the email, and you can click on that link again, or in some cases, your invitation will give you a phone number that you can dial into. Now, in this case, you're going to need to enter the meeting ID and also the passcode, but that's no big deal. Just cut and paste them from the email application that you got. Easy peasy. So I hosted my first meeting. Now when Felicia wants to have you Zoom at the board meeting, you go for it. So as you can see, there's a lot you can do with a video chat app like Zoom. I mean, it's way more than that retired guy's ever going to use. But don't let that scare you away, because basically all it is a Buck Rogers picture phone. I mean, everybody's getting those Dick Tracy wristwatches these days. What's one more science fiction gadget? Anyway, I hope this how-to video on picture phones has been helpful. And be sure to say hi to your grandkids for me when they give you a call on Zoom. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave your comments below for future episodes of That Retired Guy. And until next time, live your best life.